Tonight, the Treasury is without a substantive head for a second day as State House remains silent and the court imposes strict bail terms on CS Rotich and PS Thuge. Our focus on the Rotich era that occasioned the void at Treasury continues tonight. It's 9 p.m. and you're right in time for our broadcast.
Well, it's also Tuesday and Sidebar is coming straight after the news because right here on NTV News and Facts come first. Samuel Kimeo from Transparency International, Celestine Munda of Ernst & Young, Kwame Owino from the Institute of Economic Affairs, and Setabao Ole Kanchori, who's an advocate of the High Court, are on our panel tonight. The hashtag is NTV Tonight. We have the stories making headlines for you both locally and international. But first, we begin with the highlights.
Tonight, 15 million shillings cash bail or 50 million shillings bond.
The places of work of accused persons are considered scenes of crime and they should keep away.
Treasury CS Henry Rotich is PS and co-accused released conditionally.
Also, Italian firm CMC Di Ravenna's bosses have until Friday to surrender. Court warns of international arrest warrants.
Plus, the divided House of Parliament. Senate passes its own division of revenue bill.
The idea that devolution is a favor being done to counties by the national government must be debunked.
The matter of division of revenue is located in this House.
I still urge the parties to negotiate an amicable settlement.
And a tragic start to life.
But
a successful rescue gives newborn a fresh chance at life.
NTV Tonight with Ken Mijungu and Zeynab Ismail.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Our sign language interpreter this evening is David Agondoa. Now, the top men at Treasury have a taste of freedom after the court granted them bail. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and PS Kamau Thuge, who are however not yet free from the graft allegations pulling at them, were released on a cash bail of 15 million shillings each or a 50 million shillings bond.
Right. The two are among 15 individuals who denied various counts of corruption-related charges over the loss of billions for the Aurora and Kimore dam projects located in Elgeyo Marakwet. NTV's Leila Mohammed was in court and now reports on the President's Men's Day in Court.
For a man who has cultivated an above-the-fray presence, Treasury CS Henry Rotich cut the image of a downcast man as he and his principal secretary Kamau Thuge had their day in court to face their accuser.
This is the ruling.
Rotich and 13 other accused persons, however, got a reprieve from the Anti-Corruption Court. Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti released them after almost 24 hours as guests of the state.
Each to be released on a bond of Kenya shillings 50 million with one surety of similar amount or a cash bail of Kenya shillings 15 million.
The other accused persons were also released on a cash bail ranging from between 750,000 Kenya shillings to 6 million shillings. But though he's earned his freedom for the night, until his case is heard, he's yet to unshackle himself from the allegations of graft tugging at him. The court also imposed stringent bail terms, barring him from accessing his office or from leaving the country.
All accused should not approach any witness in any manner for whatever reason. Such actions will lead to cancellation of bond. Each accused is required not to destroy any evidence in whatever form. If adequately brought to the attention of the court, such bond terms will be revoked.
Rotich, Thuge and other accused persons pleaded not guilty to about 8 charges, each with several counts. The CS facing charges of abuse of office, failure to follow procurement laws, and payouts of monies to international firm CMC Deravena, amounting to billions of shillings.
As you exercise your discretion, please bear in mind that the bail terms should not be such that the accused will find themselves in a situation where they are being punished in the interim.
The amount of funds that a person is charged with misappropriating, the more severe the bail or bond terms ought to be. I believe that there is a reasonable rationale for this.
Other suspects not in court are expected to appear before the DCI on the 26th of July and take plea on Monday, the 29th of July. The two gentlemen will be out on bond after they pay the required money in cash or in bond as requested by the court, and as of August the 8th, they begin their defense. But at the moment, President Uhuru Kenyatta has another task of appointing one man in charge of the Treasury. Leila Mohammed, NTV, Nairobi.
Well, for the second day, the Treasury, that is the heart of government, remains without a substantive head.
This is because CS Henry Rotich and his principal secretary, Kamal Thuge, have been released on bail but are not allowed anywhere near their offices. NTV's Brenda Wanga reports on the void at Treasury and the ripples it's causing.
The courts may have freed the CS, his PS and their co-accused on bond, but that freedom is curtailed, especially when it comes to the key National Treasury office.
Places of work of accused persons are considered scenes of crime and they should keep away. If there is any need to visit their places of work, that should be done in the company of the IO.
That order from the court just serving to compound an already dicey situation. Earlier in the year, President Uhuru Kenyatta made a declaration that now demands that he acts on the back on the charging of the two top officials at Treasury.
Anyone whose case goes before court will be removed from government, and any individual will thereafter have to answer his case before a court of law.
As of this evening, the president was yet to name a replacement for Rotich in that crucial office, a fact that the former minister Musalia Mudavadi says ought not to prevail for long.
The Treasury, or the Cabinet Secretary Treasury, is a very important portfolio in the context of signing off any financial requirements. That is very, very critical. So he can gazette somebody to act in the interim.
Indeed, the Treasury is pivotal in the smooth running of the government. It is from here that the country's purse strings are pulled, and the CS and his PS are responsible for controlling the country's expenditures, coordinating the raising of debt, as well as implementation of the national budget. The absence of the two at Treasury is already being felt. For instance, a planned visit by the French finance minister was cancelled after the two were arrested. The visit was supposed to have culminated in the signing of bilateral agreements between the two countries. While the matters at the National Treasury stayed in abeyance, at State House, the president kept to his routine, receiving and hosting a visiting delegation from Botswana led by the president Eric Masisi. In the face of the unprecedented vacuum at the top leadership of the country, occasioned by the absence of the cabinet secretary and his principal secretary, the chief administrative secretary Nelson Gaichuhie is now the senior-most ranking government officer there. President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to appoint an acting cabinet secretary from among his current team before he makes a permanent replacement through a cabinet reshuffle. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
There have been 12 finance ministers in Kenya since independence, a hot seat which is coveted by many, and of those who get it, some exit office with stains on their integrity. Let's take a trip down the halls of the country's center of finance. Now, the first Minister for Finance after independence, James Gishuru, held that seat between 1963 to 1969. Former President Mwai Kibaki took over and served from 1969 to 1981. After Kibaki, Arthur Magugu stepped in, and he served between 1982 to 1988. In 1988, in came Professor George Saitoti, who served until 1992. The hot seat was then taken over by Musalia Mudavadi, who served between 1993 to 1997. Simeon Nyachai then became the Minister of Finance from 1998 to 1999. Francis Masakhalia then took over and remains the shortest-serving finance minister with only 7 months in office. Chris Okemo took the reins of the ministry between 1999 to 2001. He later became a wanted man of accusations of money laundering in the island of Jersey. He's now facing an extradition case related to money laundering at Kenya Power and Lighting Company in his earlier career as Energy Minister. Now, the current Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Transport, Chris Obure, took over the ministry in 2001 and exited in 2002. Then came David Mwiraria, who served from 2003 and became first finance minister to step aside in 2006 in the heat of one of the biggest scandals in the country, the Anglo leasing scam. He was later cleared of any wrongdoing and returned to cabinet. Now, KPP Member of Parliament Amos Kimunya then took over in 2006 and steered the ship until 2008. He resigned after increased pressure from the public over the controversial sale of the Grand Regency Hotel. The late John Mishuki, who was the Transport Minister, then took over the mantle on acting capacity until 2009. Uhuru Kenyatta then took over in 2009 to 2011. In his first months at the ministry, he was questioned over a supplementary budget which he presented to members of parliament, which had an extra 9.2 billion shillings. He said it was a typing error years later. He resigned following the case he was facing at the International Criminal Court. Robinson Githai then took over between 2011 and 2013, after which he went on to become Kenya's ambassador to the United States of America. Now, in 2013, the hot seat was then taken over by the now embattled Henry Rotich, who has been serving since then.
Right, and noticeably, Henry Rotich is one of the longest-serving finance ministers. That's aside from Musalia Mudavadi, who served for quite some time. He's one of the longest. Even as the suspects who are clearly neck-deep in the dams saga faced their accusers in court, the land where the dams should stand is now falling into a gentle ruin. There's little to show for the billions of shillings that were paid out for its construction. And for the residents, their fortunes are just as they were since that time. Let's take a look.
The site of the multi-billion shillings Aror Dam project is obscured by the morning fog, much as the promise of a dam that was to be the source of life for residents here. The project is now mired in the fog of corruption allegations, while the courts in Nairobi were a whirl of activity, with suspects involved in sinking that promise facing their accuser. There was little going on at the site, just like before.
Kama tumetaja minister kama Rotich and Rotich. Hata kuwezi hata tunaomba Uhuru Kenyatta huyo mchama uvutwe kazi.
Further down the lower reaches of the Aror River, there is little evidence of any construction work. Here we meet Emily Kimboi and Winnie Kipruto heading to the Aror River to fetch water. Going back home with the load hoisted on their backs is no mean task. The dam, they hoped, would end this back-breaking routine as it would guarantee them piped water. But there is little to show for the billions pumped into these projects.
Hao wenye wanasema ni uongo, sisi wenyeji tunajua ni ukweli. Ni ukweli wamefanya ukora.
Ile pesa yenye wananchi wakapaitika, wapewe maji mpaka kwa maboma yao. Tumesikia jana tangu juzi wesi wamechukua. Group ya kina Rotich yenye wako ndani.
The Kipsaya shopping center paints a picture of people whose lives too have barely left the ground. Just a few wooden structures, 3 shops have already closed. Had the promise of the dam been actualized, many say their fortunes perhaps would have improved. Lois Wangoi, NTV in the county of Elgeyo Marakwet.
You know, one of the interesting things about the residents of that village is about 643 million shillings was released to them for resettlement. Now, this is one of the charges that has been brought against them because the money was released by Treasury, but the land was not acquired.
So what happens next?
So it means the money went to people's pockets and it was never utilized. So they're still
It's a
putting that
very
land.
sad state for the residents there.
Yeah.
Well, away from that, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich and his Principal Secretary Kamau Thuge are expected to exit office in light of the corruption case against them.
Now, this is in light of President Uhuru Kenyatta's order on the same, alongside a legal requirement on state officers to exit office if they have a case. These are some of the cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries who had to step aside previously. In terms of the CSS, we have Felix Kosgei, who's a former Agriculture Cabinet Secretary, Charity Ngilu, who's a former Lands Cabinet Secretary, Davis Churchill, formerly Energy, Kazungu Kambi, formerly Labour, Anne Waiguru, who's now the Governor of Kirinyaga, and Michael Kamau, who is former Transport CS. President Uhuru Kenyatta also fired Sports Cabinet Secretary, who is Rashid Echesa.
Indeed, and in regards to the principal secretaries, those who've had to leave office under the cloud of graft cases, we have Mutee Ringo, who was the former Defence Principal Secretary, Nduva Moli, the former Transport Principal Secretary, Patrick Omuti was serving as the Principal Secretary at the Mining Ministry, and Lillian Omolo was the former Principal Secretary at the Youth Ministry and Tourism and later Broadcasting and Telecommunications PS for Fatma Hirsi.
Right, very interesting. All of them have had to leave the office. All right, at the center of the investigations into the dam scandal is the Italian company CMC di Ravenna that was paid for no work done. The director, Paolo Poselli, officials of the company in Italy and right here in the country have until Friday, the 26th of July, to present themselves at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters or face arrests.
Well, Nairobi's anti-corruption court chief magistrate Douglas Ogoti ruled that an international warrant of arrest would be issued against them if they're not in court by Friday. And Mel Miendo reports that the firm that was running into financial headwinds back home in Italy got the lucrative contracts, even though they had not completed 3 other projects.
At the heart of the investigations into the dam scam is the Italian construction company CMC di Ravenna, a firm the DPP described as under liquidation in Italy. Yet it was awarded the plum contracts for the construction of the dams. The same firm had also been awarded 3 other mega dam projects that are either incomplete or are yet to start. Now, the company's director, Paolo Pocelli, faces imminent arrest as the DPP seeks his extradition to the country to answer to the loss of close to 20 billion shillings through what the DPP described as a well-choreographed scheme to defraud the public. He's among the 28 persons and companies caught in the web of investigations. None of CMC di Ravenna officials appeared in court on Tuesday. Nonetheless, the court summoned that they present themselves at the DCI headquarters by Friday, 26 July, failure to which international arrests will be issued against them. Records show that while CMC di Ravenna South Africa Limited was the one that bid for and won the tender, the contract agreement was signed by another entity known as CMC di Ravenna Itinera SPA Joint Venture Limited. Meanwhile, invoices for advance payments were done by CMC di Ravenna Kenya branch and paid to CMC di Ravenna at Intesa San Paulo SPA Bank in London. A financing agreement between the National Treasury and the Italian firm became a commercial loan under unexplained circumstances. It was worth 63 billion shillings, 17 billion more than was required.
We hope that the government of Italy will be supportive in ensuring that those witnesses come here through the Mutual Legal Assistance Program, come here to testify.
NTV tried to reach the Italian embassy for a comment, but we were told the Italian ambassador, Alberto Pieri, was out of the country and no one else was authorized to comment on the matter. Furthermore, not much activity was seen at the CMC Diravena offices in Kenya along Nairobi's Galana Road. Mel Miendo, NTV.
All right, well, we're going to take a very short break, Ken.
Right, but remember it's Tuesday, and if it's Tuesday, it's Sidebar. So we have a panel to discuss all about what has been happening. And joining me shortly after the news is Samuel Kimeu from Transparency International, Celestine Bunda from Ernst & Young, Kwame Owino, you know him very well, from the Institute of Economic Affairs, and Saitaba Ole Kanchori, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So we're just going to discuss, the real issues facing this, and we're going to ask the question, has Kenya sunk to a hole that we cannot get it out of? Because with the arrest of a finance minister, that's big in a country. Yes.
Indeed. All right, let's take that break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with much more.
Rama Homes investment opportunity. Invest with 380,000 Kenya shillings and get 100% profit in 1 year. Visit our office at West Point Plaza, 5th floor along Parker Road in Westlands on the 27th July 2019 to learn more about the investment plan. For more information, call us on 0709 658 000. Rama Homes Limited, bringing luxury home.
Why are so many children absent? Children have become weaker. Children have not become weaker. Infection-causing germs have become stronger, making infections more severe. New Lifebuoy with Active Natural protects from today's stronger germs.
EACC has recovered assets worth over 11 billion shillings and filed 400 cases in court seeking recovery, seizure and confiscation of unexplained assets worth over 10 billion shillings. Some of the properties recovered are 4.9 acres University of Nairobi land valued at over 2 billion shillings, the Mayor's House in Nairobi, 20 houses in Woodley Estate, Uhuru Gardens, Mombasa, Mombasa High Court land, Karatina Police Station land, Uasin Gishu Hospital, 200 acres of Kalro land, Nakuru, Postal Corporation land in Nakuru worth 780 million shillings, Taifa Park Kisumu, among others. These properties were returned back to the rightful owners. EACC, tuangamize ufisadi, tuijenge Kenya.
Making my family some nutritious porridge is a painstaking process. First, I have to find all the ingredients needed, and there are many. For vitamins, proteins, and minerals, I need cassava, sorghum, millet. You no longer need to go through all that to make nutritious porridge. All you need is NutriPro.
You don't have to go through the trouble of finding, measuring and weighing all these vital ingredients. New NutriPro porridge flour comes fortified with 13 vitamins, proteins and minerals. This means that you have more time to focus on what's important, giving your family the healthy start they deserve. NutriPro, bringing families together. From Tropical Brand.
Hey beautiful people, this is Gilad. On July 26th, I'll be right here at the new Nairobi Hospital Convention Center, speaking at Africa's Agripreneurs Summit 2019. For years, we've known that the most available means of wealth creation for Africa is agribusiness. What was once an old and stuffy sector has now transformed into a space for young, innovative, business-minded leaders. Don't miss this unique opportunity for a front row seat to hear about agribusiness in Africa.
Why are you filming, Mummy?
To help people stop getting sick. People think the weather makes them sick. Actually, it's the germs. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs, including the cold and flu virus.
Soil Merchants Property Developers have incredible offers for prime residential and commercial plots in Kiserian town. The properties are touching the newly retarmacked pipeline road connecting Kiserian and Kitengela towns, just 30 minutes from Nairobi CBD. Get an 8-acre plot in a very developed neighborhood for just 1.3 million. The property is beaconed with ready title deeds. Water and electricity are available. Schools, health and recreational facilities are nearby. Welcome to our open day on 27th July 2019. SMS LAND to 21595 for inquiries. Do not miss out on this great investment opportunity. Buy today, build tomorrow.
We're going to take time out to celebrate you. By this time next week, you'll be complete.
This is what you signed up for.
Correction, this is what you signed me up for.
Can you come out so I can see you?
You can't just barge into people's home and take away their children.
Lord, if you hear me, help me, please.
Soil Merchants Property Developers have incredible offers for prime residential and commercial plots in Kiserian town. Welcome to our open day on 27th July 2019. SMS LAND to 21595.
NTV Tonight with Ken Mijungu and Zeynab Ismail.
And welcome back. David Agondoa is our sign language interpreter tonight. Well, Chief Justice David Maraga says the Supreme Court is reluctant to hear the petition by governors seeking an advisory opinion over the division of revenue process after both houses of parliament failed to agree.
Now, Maraga asked the aggrieved parties to give dialogue another chance, but prepare for a hearing on Wednesday if that fails. And Vincent Odwor reports.
The Council of Governors wants the Supreme Court to provide direction on the stalemate over the division of revenue, but the judiciary is still disinclined to intervene in the dispute involving the legislative arm of government.
We are at a situation that the Supreme Court is called upon to also guide the nation on certain parts, certain steps that we take, and usually instead of a step is a misstep.
In the interim, I still urge the parties to negotiate an amicable settlement on all the issues. If by next Wednesday there is nothing, we come here ready at 9, we hear the matter and then make a decision. We have no other alternative.
The judiciary perhaps hoping to avoid a possible run-in with the National Assembly that has previously threatened of budget cuts. The National Assembly wants the hearing deferred to allow for the conclusion of the ongoing mediation process.
And my Lord, I think that is the only form or way of engagement which you had directed. Because in our view, and that is what we have submitted, this is a political process which I think, my Lord, with due respect, it may not be settled here.
The governors say the stalemate had starved them of crucial funds and want the country's apex court to pronounce itself in what they say is the National Assembly's deliberate attempt to lock out the Senate from the law-making process. A previous mediation effort bringing to the table the National Assembly and the Senate failed to agree on an acceptable figure as the county's equitable share. Vincent Odwor, NTV.
And as the Chief Justice urged for dialogue in court, the rift between the two squabbling houses of parliament is only growing wider. This is after the Senate debated and passed its own version of the Division of Revenue Bill in disregard of a fresh bill published by the National Assembly.
On one hand, the National Assembly insists it holds the sole mandate of originating a money bill, while senators say their mandate of passing such a bill is also safeguarded in the Constitution. NTV's political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi with the details.
The stalemate between the National Assembly and the Senate over the Division of Revenue Bill will persist after the Senate this afternoon passed their own version of the Division of Revenue, allocating counties 335 billion shillings and now forwarding the same to the National Assembly, who through their majority leader introduced their own version of the bill, allocating counties 316 billion shillings, leaving counties to continue suffering as they await another mediation of the same to try and look for a solution.
Communication.
In the Senate, it was all smooth sailing as members found consensus on their own version of the Division of Revenue, which they voted on and passed.
Order number 3.
To the Senate, their move is in line with the country's supreme laws and the recommendations of the Commission on Revenue Allocation, which senators say has the sole mandate of determining how much money goes to the counties.
Mr. Speaker, the notion or the idea that devolution is a favor being done to counties by the national government must be debunked.
Any bill under Article 218 of the Constitution is exempt from what is called the money bill. So we have all the constitutional right and authority to introduce the bill in the Senate.
However, in the National Assembly, where a new Division of Revenue bill allocating counties 316 billion shillings was tabled, legislators had strong words for the Senate that had passed their own bill.
A money bill may be introduced only in the National Assembly in accordance with Article 114.
If you look at 96 sub Article 3, the matter of county allocation of revenue, Mr. Speaker, is located in the Senate.
This matter of dividing revenue is so contentious, it's political, it has caught the attention of this country. As a house and as leaders in this country, I think it is important that we approach it with some kind of sobriety.
Sources at the National Assembly say the lifespan of Senate's efforts could still be in the hands of the National Assembly, as the Budget Committee must have a say on the money bill. Kennedy Muredi, NTV.
And away from politics, here's a story that will warm your heart. Now, a newborn baby girl from Webuye has a second chance at life after she was rescued from a pit latrine some 12 hours after she was dumped by her mother.
And indeed, it warms my heart that the incident that sent shockwaves through the community in Nambani village, Webuye East constituency of Bungoma County, can finally bring some warmth. The girl is recovering at the Webuye hospital.
The calm over this homestead in Webuye reveals little of the strife that marked the early hours of this day. It was a tragic start to life for this little baby girl, abandoned and alone in a pit latrine and unwanted by her mother, a Form 3 student who couldn't come to grips with the consequences of her actions.
Mtoto alienda kwa nyanya yake kuona nyanya yake.
After laboring all night, the mother had planned to dispose of her shame, bury her secret before the light of dawn. She would quietly carry her baby girl to the latrines and dump her. Her fight to leave after more than 12 hours in the pit alerted the neighbors who answered to her desperate cries.
Vile tulikuja na mzee akasimama nje, mimi nikamulika ndani tochi. Nikaona mtoto mzima, kichwa, nywele, makono anafanya tu hivi. Ndio nikarudi kusema, kumbe huyu mtoto ametoa mtoto na ameangusha kwa choo. Hapo tu ndio tulianzia na mzee, tukasituka, alafu tukaanza mbio za kutafuta administration wa kusaidia.
Nikaondoka haraka haraka na huyu taxi, tukaenda Misihu kutafuta msichana mwenye alifanya abortion. Nilipompata, nikafanya juu chini pia nikatafuta na mama yake, tukaweka kwa pikipiki tukaacha na wao hati mahali hapa.
The efforts to give her a second chance at life told by the shattered concrete around the hole of the latrine. She was taken to the Webuye hospital where medics attended to her, all the while contemplating her decision and having to deal with the foiled plan. She was her second baby. Her first one is in her mother's care. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Right, away from that heartwarming story, former Kenya Revenue Authority Commissioner General John Njeraine, who left the Kenya Revenue Authority under the cloud of a tax evasion racket, now wants to be the next National Lands Commission chairperson. So is former Special Programs Minister and Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Esther Murugi Madhenke.
Well, the two, alongside a long list of poll losers, cronies and parastatal appointees, are under consideration for the leadership of the National Land Commission. Is the independent body being reduced to a political consolation prize in light of the nominations, which appear to be a list of friends of the high and mighty? Take a look.
You would be wrong to think that John Njiraini had drawn the curtains on public office when he left the Kenya Revenue Authority under a shroud of criminal enterprise that saw 80 of its staff members investigated for involvement in a tax evasion racket. He is in the running for the job of the National Land Commission chairman, seeking to pick up where the former chair, Muhammad Swazuri, left off under a cloud of rot at the NLC. But Njiraini isn't the only former public official job hunting. Of the 11 shortlisted for the job of NLC chair, 3 are former members of parliament the electorate threw out in the cold. They include former Nyeri Town MP and Special Programs Minister Esther Murugi, former Isiolo Woman Representative Tia Galgalo, and former Gatanga Member of Parliament Humphrey Kimani Njuguna. Advocate Gashom Otachi, who defended former police boss Mohammed Hussein Ali before the International Criminal Court, is also in the list, having previously been appointed chair of the Geothermal Development Company. Of the 50 shortlisted for the 8 membership posts, former Cabinet Secretary Kazungu Kambi, who lost out to Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi in the last general election, is one. Other poll losers include Francis Waweru Nderitu, James Omingo Magara, and Boniface Okia Otsiula. Also in the running is Advocate Katwa Kigen, who also represented the Ocampo 6 before the ICC. Former Principal Secretary Hadija Kasachun, who President Kenyatta kicked out of office. Francis Meja, the National Transport and Safety Authority DG, whose job has been advertised. And Ambassador Wellington Pakia Godo, formerly of the Communications Authority of Kenya. The list of those set to undergo interviews next week has various connected individuals and raises questions on the independence of the sensitive commission. Olive Barrows, NTV.
You know what, Zeynab?
Yeah.
Let the best loser or retiree get the job.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, Julian Samboko with the business news.
Germs with Jik. Kills 99.9% of germs on your kitchen surfaces, sponges, chopping boards, sink and fridge, and your bathroom taps, shower head, basin and surfaces. Just Jik it. Look out for our new improved packaging in store. Just Jik it.
Every day, history repeats itself. A scientist takes one small step. A genius finds a solution. A record is broken. A legend is born. Every day, history repeats itself here at Wood Creek School because we believe every child is a promise of something great. And it's our job to find the greatness within. So we welcome you to our open day on the 3rd and 4th of August from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at our campus on Committee Road.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because her tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
for maximum cavity protection. And now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
I told you to kick it more to the left. No, kick it higher. No, to the left.
Come on, guys, stop it. Remember the win.
and betting partner of Tottenham Hotspur.
Join Telkom today and share life on our expanded 4G network. Telkom, moving with you.
Rough and tough quality textured coating gives your walls a tough and beautiful finish. Available in over 6,000 shades, it hides surface imperfections. Call us on 0709 887 000 to place your order. Crown. If you like it, crown it.
Hey, mister. Where you going?
Men clean their cars themselves. I'll also clean my own bike. I'm grown up now.
Then you'll need this.
The most pleasant surprise for a mother is to see her child growing up.
But I know as he learns to take more responsibility, he'll face more dirt, germs, and the risk of illness.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection, because Dettol cleans and protects against 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Are you investing in land? Strategic land? Konza Greens is the only controlled residential development within Konza Techno City Buffer Zone, a gated community setup less than 2 kilometers from Konza SGR station and adjacent to the standard gauge railway. Get an eighth of an acre plot for only 490,000 Kenya shilling or an installment plan starting as little as 15,000 Kenya shilling per month. Take advantage of this grant opportunity by texting the word Konza to 22002. Secure your future today. Diamond Property Merchants, your home of strategic land investment.
And let's get down to business. Welcome, I am Julian Amboko. Now, the National Assembly has set the ball rolling to have Kenya Airways nationalized. This follows the adoption of the Transport Committee's report on the privately initiated investment proposal by Kenya Airways for the takeover of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Now, here's Alex Mwangi to shed light on the looming changes facing Kenya's aviation sector.
This House adopts a report of the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing on the inquiry into the proposed Kenya Airways privately initiated investment proposal to Kenya Airports Authority, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, June 18, 2019. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as the contrary opinion say no? The ayes have it. Next order.
In just 40 seconds, the National Assembly adopted the report, which is expected to have far-reaching ramifications on the country's aviation sector and in particular, the national carrier, Kenya Airways.
The committee recommends the following. Number one, Honorable Speaker, that Kenya Airways be nationalized.
The committee recommends that the government establishes an aviation holding company with 4 subsidiaries. That is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the Kenya Airports Authority, Kenya Airways, and a centralized aviation services college. The holding company is aimed at stemming the loss of market share of both the JKIA and Kenya Airways.
Within the last 6 years, the share of JKIA in East Africa traffic dropped, Honorable Speaker, from 50% to 34%, while Bole International Airport, which is our close neighbor, Ethiopia, was growing, Honorable Speaker, its market share from 30% to 44%.
The committee was extensively furnished with data of how the JKIA compares with Ethiopia's Bole International Airport, as well as comparisons between Kenya Airways and Ethiopian Airlines.
We found out that Ethiopian Airlines has gradually grown, and currently, Honorable Speaker, it has 153 destinations and a fleet of 100 of them, and they have ordered 59 as we speak. And when you compare with our Kenya Airways, we have only 53 destinations and only 40 aircrafts, nothing more than that.
The committee's probe into the PIIP, which involved interviewing various stakeholders of the aviation industry, including Kenya Airways Chief Executive Sebastian Mikosh, may have precipitated his eventual announcement that he will step down at the end of the year. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
And can't wait to see how the KQ share opens the market at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Elsewhere, Kenya has lost 28.3 billion shillings to illegal donkey slaughtering in the last 3 years, and the situation is only going to get worse in the coming years as the donkey population in the country dwindles. This is according to a survey carried out by the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization on the status of donkey slaughter in Kenya and its implication on the community livelihoods. The survey also reveals inconsistencies in export records, pointing at foul play in the donkey slaughter trade. Lillian Carrier with more on that story.
It has been about 6 years since the Meat Control Act in Kenya was amended to classify donkeys and horses as food animals, paving way for the construction of abattoirs that process donkey meat and skin strictly for export. But as straightforward as this business was meant to be, a lot of illegal practices have been documented that are now threatening to send this beast of burden into extinction.
Demand for the 4 slaughterhouses outweighs the supply, so even the business viability for these slaughterhouses is a question.
A survey conducted by the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization reveals that a total of 301,977 donkeys have been slaughtered since the commissioning of export donkey abattoirs in Kenya. And while these are the only documented numbers, a lot more donkeys have been slaughtered illegally, leaving Kenya with only 1.5 million donkeys left today. But if the illegal slaughter continues, the report says that the donkey population will drop sharply to just 468,716. At the center of the donkey crisis is China. The Asian country's high demand for donkey skin, which is used to make traditional medicine and beauty products, has left most donkey traders slaughtering even pregnant donkeys. In May this year, animal rights activists, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, called the government to completely ban donkey slaughter due to the extreme cruelty the animals are subjected to in government-sanctioned slaughterhouses here in Kenya. Lillian Kiarie, NTV.
And Kenya is set to receive 33.8 billion shillings in grants between July 2019 and June 2020, a 2.6 decline from the amount estimated to have been received in the same period a year earlier. This decline in grants signals the challenge the government faces as it looks to cushion the economy from the rising burden of servicing external loan obligations.
In its latest report, the National Treasury indicates that it looks to mobilize 294.5 billion shillings in external loans and grants in the financial year 2019-2020, with 88.5% of this amount sourced through loans, while the remaining portion will be in grants. Kenya's top sources of loans over this period are expected to be the International Development Association encompassing the World Bank and the IMF. Aside from that, we have the government of China, the African Development Fund, and the governments of Italy and Japan. Meanwhile, the main sources of grants are expected to be the Global Fund, the European Development Fund, the International Development Association encompassing the World Bank and the IMF, the Global Alliance Vaccine Initiative, and the government of Denmark. Kenya is looking to address the 607 billion shillings deficit in the 3 trillion shillings 2019-2020 national budget. In the face of declining grants, the government will potentially be compelled to tap into more loans to meet its funding needs.
And moving on, do you love cars? Here's some exciting news that will ignite the engine in your heart. Westgate Mall is set to host an auto show that will feature a wide variety of new cars, both low and high-end models, which will cater to the needs of Kenyans of varying economic backgrounds. The Nation Media Group has partnered with Westgate and the Strategic Innovative Design Solutions to curate this exciting experience. The family-friendly event is free of charge and will run from the 1st to the 4th of August on the rooftop of the parking lot at the Westgate Mall.
We will have all the top brands available in Kenya, including Jaguar, BMW, VW. We will have Mazda, Ford, of course.
We're looking forward to is being able to contribute to the discourse of efficient mobility in this region and in this country. We know that the families who are going to come here will experience something unique something that they've never seen before, because it's actually a family event.
And away from that, dairy farmers and stakeholders in the sector are set to benefit from the forthcoming Africa Dairy Conference, which aims at strengthening the milk market and opening new opportunities for local dairy farmers. The event, slated for 14th to 16th August at KICC, will bring together key stakeholders in the entire dairy value chain.
We are now drafting the food safety bill, which will address a lot of these issues in terms of, because hitherto it has been mixed together with drugs and medicines, but now we were separating medicines to the veterinary medicines, to the Veterinary Medicines Directorate, the other ones for humans to the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, so that we deal effectively with food and other related products. And of course, we cannot talk about food security and nutrition without talking about safety, because safety of our people is very key.
And that's where we wrap up the business desk tonight. Up next is the financial report.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge mbele bundles at affordable prices.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Melissa?
Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud than seeing her child growing up. But I know that as she learns to care for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth, causing that discomfort. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne to their patients. It's able to get inside the tooth and calm the nerve of the tooth down, and the proof's in the results. It works.
You in the pollution? Yes, you. Dry throat? Strepsils. Gal in the smoke with a raspy voice? Strepsils. Hello, in the downpour with a scratchy throat? Take Strepsils. Get soothing relief for any throat irritation. Strepsils with its medicinal ingredients will heal the harm done to your throat from external factors. Strepsils. Strepsils for a dry, itchy, raspy, scratchy throat.
Birthday party.
Birthday party.
Birthday
party.
Are we not invited? We have gifts. Malaria.
Mommy, best!
Run.
Oh, die.
Party.
Compared to an ordinary spray, Mortein Doom Power Guard kills disease-causing pests instantly. Mortein Doom Power Guard.
Every day, history repeats itself. A scientist takes one small step. A genius finds a solution. A record is broken. A legend is born. Every day, history repeats itself here at Wood Creek School. Because we believe every child is a promise of something great. And it's our job to find the greatness within. So we welcome you to our open day on the 3rd and 4th of August from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at our campus on Committee Road.
Well, out of our continent, Boris Johnson is the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom following his election as the new Conservative leader in a ballot by his party members. The election of Johnson, who takes over from Theresa May on Wednesday, beat Jeremy Hunt, comfortably winning 92,153 votes to 46,656. He's just the latest in a global trend of election of leaders considered unconventional and controversial.
Well, the former London mayor is widely seen to be one of the same likeness as US President Donald Trump in more ways than just facial configuration and hairdo. While Boris stirred up the Brexit storm, Trump is a Twitter-happy leader who stokes controversy with every statement he makes. And yes, Trump has actually expressed admiration for Johnson. Trump is himself famed for all the wrong things like racism, male dominance and white supremacy.
Well, then there is Kim Jong-un of North Korea, the little rocket man who, until his current dalliance with Washington, never missed an opportunity to showcase his country's military might to the world. Kim was a global outcast who threatened to flatten rival nations in the formative years of his rule. He has a trademark suit and an unmistakable walk, just like his father.
And while all this was happening, and while it may seem funny, Ukraine elected a comedian as its new president. Zelensky took the joke of playing commander-in-chief in a popular comedy show too seriously and decided to run for the actual office. In a vote that shook the world, Zelensky was elected the 6th president of Ukraine. The Ukrainians love him, by the way.
All right, and closer home is Madagascar's Andry Rajoelina, who spun his decks to the highest office in the land.
Now, a former disc jockey or DJ and entertainer, Rajoelina first held the office of the Prime Minister between 2009 and 2014 out of a total chaos in the island, which led to heavy sanctions from global powers.
Then the DJ then played his cards just right to be elected president in December of 2018.
Oh, wow. Quite interesting leaders we have in the world, right?
Yeah, and we continue to elect them.
Oh, wow. I can just get, you know, the little, what do we call it?
The little rocket man.
Oh, wow.
North Korea. Yes, that's what Trump used to call him, by the way.
All right.
Yes.
We'll have to take a short break. When we come back, Sean Carter-Willis will be bringing you the sporting action.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru on 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE. Nation FM. More music and less talk.
The world-famous Molfix and saw the difference. Let's see how absorbent Molfix is. Molfix, thanks to its ultra-absorbent particles, can keep more liquid than the other diaper brand, so you can use it comfortably all day long. All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Can I buy a chocolate, please? It's for my mom. Happy birthday, Mom.
Thank you, Bella. There's a class and a half in everyone.
The Federation of Kenya Employers and Business Africa invites you to the Africa Employers Conference and FKE 60th Anniversary Celebrations. The conference will be held at the Sarova White Sands Beach Resort and Spa, Mombasa, Kenya on Friday 26th to Saturday 27th July 2019. Theme is Shaping the Future of Work and Enterprises in Africa. To confirm attendance, email jkudwoli@fkekenya.org. The Federation of Kenya Employers, the voice of employers.
We're going to take a time out to celebrate you. By this time next week, you'll be complete.
This is what you signed up for.
Correction, this is what you signed me up for.
Can you come out so I can see you?
You can't just barge into people's home and take away their children.
Lord, if you hear me, help me, please.
Soil Merchants Property Developers have incredible offers for prime residential and commercial plots in Kiserian Town. Welcome to our open day on 27th July 2019. SMS LAND to 21595.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Sean Carter-Villis with the latest sports news. Now, the national men's basketball team, the Kenya Morans, will face Ivory Coast tonight in the round of 16 of the ongoing Africa Basketball Championship, the AfroBasket, and it's taking place in Bamako, Mali. Kenya drew the West Africans, who finished bottom of Group A after losing all their matches. Kenya, who Nigeria in their second match. The other last 16 matches will see Morocco play Guinea, Algeria face Nigeria, and Egypt take on Chad. The four winners will join Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mali and Tunisia in the quarterfinals of the championship. Now, for the first time ever, a team from Muranga will play in the National Super League. A little-known Muranga Sports Excellence Academy, otherwise known as MSEAL, wrote its name into the history books after securing promotion with a win in the FKF Zone A. Martin Mwara profiles a team whose president has big plans.
Muranga Sports Excellence Academy Limited, MSEAL's journey to the big league, has secured a big leap after it secured promotion to the National Super League. The team, which was established in 2016, defied numerous challenges to top Division 1 Zone A under the FKF. The start was turbulent for the MSEAL Football Club, which plays at the Dusty Kiharo Stadium, but they have since gained a winning touch. And for the last 3 years, they have topped in all the tires that they took part in.
Ile siri yetu ni mazoezi na hard work. Kwa sababu wao vijana unaona hapa wamefanya kazi ya ziada. Kila game ni finali kwa hivyo wamejitolea sana. Tumekuwa tukiwazaza timu kuanzia juu mpaka chini kwa wachezaji.
The players are not salaried but earn an unguaranteed allowance after every game. MSEAL Club President Robert Masharia has developed a hands-off approach that has borne fruit.
Nobody has ever been able to achieve what we have achieved in Muranga. So we hope that with our success, then we can encourage kids like the ones you've seen here today to come and play football. And once they have a distraction, they will not get involved in drugs or other evils in the society. And we have been good ambassadors of Muranga, so we are hoping that the governor and his government can come to our rescue sooner than later.
After the team's impressive run, Masharia's focus is now on bigger things, with an eye on the future, even as he urges the Muranga community to rally behind MSEAL.
We're trying to set up our own pitch about 14 kilometers from here, so hopefully we will be able to finish it before the start of the next season in August. What we are doing there is actually we are doing a full-fledged academy, which will be class 6 up to Form 4. So the estimated cost from the architect is about 350 million. But we'll do it slowly by slowly. We are hoping that we can get investors to come because these schools, 70% of the kids will not be able to pay school fees. All of us know that the people who are really passionate about sports should normally come from poor backgrounds, so it will more or less be a charitable organization.
On Saturday, the team was crowned as champions of Division 1 Zone A after drawing 2-2 with Naivas FC at Kiharu Grounds in Murang'a Town.
Now we have two teams from Abadeas, that is Bidco and Murang'a Seal, and we hope they do as they have done to Division 1 and they win. If they win, we are going to play in the Premier League.
Vihiga Bullets and MCL FC have been promoted to the second tier FKF National Super League. The team harbors a dream of shipping stars to Europe in the future, but at the moment, their focus is winning the NSL League and graduate to competing in the Kenya Premier League. Martin Mora, NTV, Murang'a County. Now, days after we focused on the stalled construction of the Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Eldoret Town, Uasin Gishu County, today we shift focus to the 64 Stadium in the same town that is also falling apart. The wall surrounding the stadium has fallen off. The 4 toilets have no doors, while residents of Eldoret West walk through the stadium, posing a security risk, especially when athletes and footballers are training at the stadium. Eldowas FC and Eldowas International, who are currently training at the 64 Stadium in readiness for the ITT Company's games, have blown the whistle on the state of the neglect. However, Uasin Gishu County Governor Jackson Mandago says the county government has set aside the initial 250 million shillings to fix the stadium.
Gavana wetu juzi alisema atarekebisha kiwanja, wameshaweka budget. Tunatarajia kama ingewezekana wakiweza kurekebisha hii kiwanja itatusaidia kama team ama kama club na vijana wa area ambao wanatrain hapa ni G105.
Watu wanapita katikati ya kiwanja, ukiangalia fence hakuna, ukiangalia toilets hazina milango. Sasa hata mali pa access saa zile kuna games hapa inakuwa ni problem. Sasa tungeliomba tu our county government angalau ishughulikie hili jambo.
The second edition of the 4x4 Challenge has attracted a total of 30 drivers who are set to do battle this Sunday at Champagne Park in Kajiado County. The beginner stage will have 8 drivers, as will the expert category, while the intermediate level will attract 10 drivers. Now, according to the head of scrutineering, Harry Thuku, all drivers should avail their vehicles at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning for checks. Beginners Sion Sitati and Simon Mora are both seeking for an elevation from the beginner stage, while the intermediate driver Dalmas Mwiwawi is hopeful of getting a great show, having skipped the last edition. The 4x4 Challenge, which originated in Britain in the late 1800s, has gained inroads in Kenya, with the local enthusiasts seeking to have it professionalized.
Competition is going to be stiff. I know we have more entries, and I'm looking forward for good challenges, fair results.
Chelsea pulled off an impressive pre-season victory as they beat Spanish champions Barcelona 2-1 at the Saitama Stadium in Tokyo. It was Barca's first match since returning from their summer holidays, and despite a bright start, their lack of match sharpness gradually showed against the Chelsea side, who were playing their third match of pre-season. Tammy Abraham gave the Blues a 1-0 halftime lead, courtesy of an uncharacteristic error from Sergio Busquets. With 10 minutes to go, Ross Barkley curled in the Blues' second goal of the game before Ivan Rakitic pulled the goal back for Barca in injury time.
He's got himself. I'm not sure if there's a deflection on it because Neto really should have done better.
Wednesday will mark 1 year until the start of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, and organizers say the preparations for the summer showpiece are on track. According to the organizers, construction at all newly built and temporary venues, including the National Stadium and Olympic and Paralympic Village, are on schedule. In addition, 3.22 million tickets were sold during the first domestic sales phase, exceeding expectations. Test events are now underway, and final preparations are being made to deliver on the games that organizers in 2018 said would cost $12.1 billion. The Olympic Games will be held between the 24th of July and the 9th of August, and the Paralympic Games between the 25th of August and the 6th of September 2020. All right, that's the latest sports. Back to you, Ken and Zeynab.
right, thanks so much, Sean Carter-Willis. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour, and of course, for your company so far, our sign language interpreter this evening was David Agondoa, and I know, Ken, you're going for sidebar at this point.
Yes, sidebar is right after this.
Interesting conversation you have lined up.
Exactly, because we're discussing about what happened on Monday, the arrest of the cabinet secretary. This is one of the most significant arrests because the treasury is empty. And you're not just talking about any other cabinet secretary, you're talking about the treasury cabinet. He runs the engine of this country. So we're looking at this from the perspective of stakeholders, especially no politicians for tonight. Just stakeholders and lawyers to understand what exactly this means for the country.
Wow, what serious stuff. And on that note, do you want to hear a dry joke?
Right, go ahead.
Desert.
Deserts.
Get it? All right, thank you so much. My name is Zeynab Ismail. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Zeynab. And of course, right after this is sidebar, and my panel is already here. You can see them. Have Kwame Owino from the Institute of Economic Affairs joining us, Setaba Olekanchori, who's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, Celestine from Ernst & Young, and of course we have the guy from Transparency International. They have done a lot of studies on corruption in this country. So we'd just like to know the perspective, and more importantly, the question I'll be asking them right from the top: how deep are we in this hole? Stay with us. We are back in a moment.